Send our positive thoughts and prayers to those in our community that need our support. Okay, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Make a roll call, please.
Commissioner Bryson.
Here.
Commissioner Hendrick.
Here.
Commissioner Helfrich.
Here.
Commissioner Clausen.
Here.
Commissioner Rory.
Here.
Commissioner Ross. Mayor Van Bosch.
Here.
City Manager Adkins.
Here.
I'll make a motion to excuse Brian Ross for illness.
Support.
Motion and support. Make a roll call, please.
Commissioner Hendrick.
Yes.
Commissioner Helfrich.
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Rory.
Yes.
Commissioner Mayor Van Bosch.
Yes.
Commissioner Bryson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 4, approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda with one addition. I'd like to add an item under new business to hold discussions regarding Charter Section 5.4.
What section does that regard?
Section 5.4.
You don't know?
Would that be, then what, add new business act?
Yes.
Okay, and have a support?
Support.
Okay, and all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Item 5A, we have a proclamation for the United in Purpose for United Way of St. Clair County. You want to go ahead and read the proclamation out? Says, whereas United Way of St. Clair County partners with the community in meeting the needs of the people in the community, or in the city of Marine City, and whereas United Way of St. Clair County serves the people of Marine City through its support of 21 service organizations which seek to meet the needs of the people of our community, whereas these organizations, supported by United Way of St. Clair County, directly connected Marine City residents with 204 resources last year, and indirectly many more, and whereas monies contributed to United Way of St. Clair County by residents and businesses stay in St. Clair County and are expected under the direction of the Board of Directors made up of local volunteers, and whereas United Way of St. Clair County provides the most efficient utilization of fundraising efforts by assessing and responding to indicators of local community needs, and therefore be it resolved that the City of Marine City designate fall 2023 as United Way of St. Clair County months in the City of Marine City, and be it further resolved that the City of Marine City Commission urges people and businesses of Marine City to support the financial campaign of United Way of St. Clair County to the fullest extent possible, and be it further resolved that the City of Marine City Commission, on behalf of the people of Marine City, expresses appreciation to the many volunteers, including Board of Directors of the United Way of St. Clair County and of the organization it supports, for their generous contributions of time and energy to these agencies which seek to enrich the lives of the people of this great county. And we do motion to support that?
No.
All right.
Do a motion to receive and file.
All right.
Make a motion to receive and file the proclamation from United Way.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public comment. Anyone is welcome to address the City Commission. Please state your name, limit your comments to 5 minutes. Commission will not respond, but will follow up as necessary.
You raise your hand, I'm sorry. I just don't
She
know.
can go ahead and be.
Well, thank you, I appreciate that.
It's not a problem.
Trish May, 210 Huron Avenue. I just wanted to come today to kind of clarify some things that Mr. Hillfrank, and with full transparency, Mr. Hillfrank, I did vote for you, so if you could give me your attention as I'm addressing the commission, that would be appreciated. I had actually voted for you, to be a part of this commission, because at that time, it really seemed like your agenda was for the people. But as you and I discussed on Facebook, it clearly seems like you have your own agenda. And that makes me incredibly sad. You're inappropriate with your comments. You're inappropriate. Did you need me to wait?
No, I just would like to respond.
You're inappropriate with your comments. You're inappropriate with the information that you put out there. The stuff that you share is not fact checked. And when people call you on it, you don't have a response. You don't have a response to anything. You say, I never lie, which I guess is kind of up to debate. The other thing, one of your other comments that you had put out there, when it came time to look for the city manager, I was the citizen that was on the board, and it was an open meeting. I don't think I ever saw you at any of the meetings. Weird, because it's so important to you that we select the right person. So I sat on the board along with Mr. Bryson and along with Mr. Ross, and I think that we selected, or at least gave our recommendation for somebody that came in. Who cares if he's only going to be here for 2 years? He comes in with no learning curve, and he comes in with experience, and he comes in with a reputation that you are trying so hard to diminish. You're spending more time bad-mouthing everybody on this board than you are doing anything for the city. Your own agenda is what you have, and that needs to stop. I did some research on the charter myself, and I saw your little Facebook one, and you said charter 3.11, and that was the relationship of commissioner to administrative services, and you even highlighted this yourself. Except for the purpose of inquiry, the commission and its members shall deal with the administrative service solely through the city manager.
You missed the part.
I did, but I'm highlighting the part that you highlighted it.
Ooh,
You
no.
can go back on your Facebook.
It's not appropriate for me to talk to her this time, sorry. But that's not right.
Yeah. Neither the commission nor any members thereof shall give orders to any subordinates of the city manager. So
Can
you
you-
can go,
Can you read the part after
how
except
about
for
it's
the
my turn, not yours? Fair?
skipping parts?
Fair?
It's fair not to skip parts, right?
Okay, no, we're not. We're not corresponding.
You can stare at me all you want.
You
not
told me
gonna
to, I'm not
intimidate
paying attention.
you in any way, shape, or form.
Don't intimidate her.
He's not going to. I don't need
Okay.
that, but I appreciate it. The second part is 6-6. Any member of commission or other officers who shall fail to conduct himself in an orderly manner, like tonight, at any meeting shall be deemed guilty of misconduct in this office. 6-8, investigation. By it for the purpose shall have the power to inquire into conduct of any department. Conduct, that doesn't mean that you get to go out on Facebook and share your side, because that's all you do. Mike goes out, he goes Facebook Live, and he shares what his interpretation is and what it is that he wants you to hear, and not the facts that actually happened. Mike FOIA'd this, and I didn't get this, and I didn't get this. Mike, the people of the city did vote you, and I'm here to tell you that I, as somebody that voted for you, will be the one to spear up your recall. Because you are a menace, you are ridiculous, and your misconduct, and everything that these people up here have to deal with, and everything that those people out here have to deal with, is not what they put you in office for.
I appreciate your opinion.
Okay.
The people have spoken.
Those aren't all of them, though.
Yes.
It's a good majority.
Not really.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, or we can do a poll. There you
Yeah,
go.
got one right here.
Okay. Phil Polishek, Marine City resident. It was a last minute decision to come out here tonight, I'll be honest. I sat back, I've been silent for a very long time. I've been watching, I've been observing, being up here tonight, I think is honestly one of the hardest podium presentations I've ever had to do in my entire life. And it saddens me to be up here tonight. I just want to echo off what the previous lady said. I'm just going to corals and peace. We unfortunately went through a time, and I had my fair share of say, I always did my research, my homework, of the city residents not liking the city administration. Between the former mayor, the former city manager, I'll say, it was hell. It was. I fought and fought, I stood on laurels and whatever you want to call it, I thought were necessary to fight for. I finally thought we were in a time of peace. I was ecstatic when I saw Scott Atkins get hired with his background. And I'll tell you something. As soon as he got in here, I called him, I said, hey Scott, my name is Phil. I've had some grievance with the city. I want to start on a fresh page. We've got a new administration, new everything. Can we talk? Sure, Phil, come down to my office. We must have talked for 45 minutes to an hour about my views for the city, my ideas for the city, what his views for the city were. And I think he's an outstanding guy. We have what I believe to be an outstanding new DPW director that he brought in. We've had an outstanding police chief for several years who continues to be outstanding. And we have an outstanding fire chief who does a great job for our fire department and our community. And I appreciate every one of you. I appreciate Nicole Posey. I appreciate Michelle Goodrich. And I apologize, I know you've had some hirings, I forgot the other ones. I think it's Kristen, I could be wrong. Christina, thank you. I appreciate the work she does. I appreciate, is it Kayla at the DPW, the one that's like the secretary, correct me on the name. Michaela. I appreciate Jason Bell. Jason Bell, if you don't know, our clerk, he's doing two roles right now. He is not only our full-time city clerk, he's also doing the full-time city clerking job of the Marine City Police Department as well. Those are two big hats to wear. And I apologize for that. I was extremely ecstatic that the city was moving forward, that we were in a time of peace. And I'm just gonna come out and basically say, I'm asking Commissioner Frank to please drop the hostilities. I know I've known you for a long time, but you know me. If I'm against something that any of our city is doing, or the administrative part of our city, or commissioners, I'm gonna call it out, and I'm gonna say it. And it goes both ways. And I'm actually looking forward to trying to work together with the newest city administration, the new city commission, and trying to be on a better page to better the city. Doesn't mean I want to agree with everything. I don't always agree with everybody. But when I come up, I have my research done, I have my homework done, and I respectfully present my case and what I believe in. And what's going on now, I don't believe in it one bit. This is not me. This is not my style for how city government should run or be operated. And I want to thank all the other commissioners that are doing everything they can for this city and fighting against what's going on right now. And, you know, if I get attacked for it, I get attacked for it. It is what it is. But I had to stand up here and finally do what I feel was the right thing to do. And it saddens me to do it, but it is what it is. Thank you for your time tonight, Commissioner.
Thank you for your time.
My name is Karen Yankee. I reside on North Bell Avenue. First and foremost, I want to say that I am still adamantly opposed to a pot shop here in Marine City. But because of Commissioner Hilfring opening that can of worms, I now want to say how much I appreciate your due diligence in the way you are spending time to word that ordinance in such a way that it safeguards Marine City, that it gives us boundaries and guidelines. So I appreciate the hard work, the time, the money, and the effort that has gone into it. But I know that Commissioner Hilfring has not been happy with this. He doesn't like delays, he doesn't like to be told no. And I have a question for you. Have you ever watched a toddler being told he has to wait, or no, told no? They carry on, they fuss, they complain. complain, they throw tantrums, and even when they're given advice on not to do it and that there are consequences, they still don't listen. In fact, they do exactly what they want to, and they point fingers and they pout when they don't get their own way. The behavior of Commissioner Hilfrich over the last several months is unacceptable. And his actions as of the last few weeks should be grounds for dismissal. He has been disrespectful to each one of you. I have seen how he's spoken to you, over you, and you have given him advice and advised him not to, and he continues to rant. He has been disrespectful and his behavior is reprehensible. But he thinks he has the voice of the people, and I can assure you he does not. He owes all of you an apology and should step down immediately. His polling on Facebook groups, his disparaging comments, and his accusations need to be put to a stop. Thank you for all your work.
Mayor, I just wanted to give you a brief update on the Community and Economic Development Board meeting a few weeks ago. We had a couple of things that I think we should get out in a timely manner. The city manager has brought to us a series of best practices for redevelopment-ready communities. We went through those at our last meeting and we voted to continue on a monthly basis to take one of those best practices, review it, and see what we as a Community and Economic Development Board could do to help bring some of those actions into fruition. We can't do them on our own, but we can certainly make recommendations to this body. Moving forward, we plan to do so. The redevelopment-ready communities, for those of you in the audience aren't familiar with it, is a project of the Michigan Economic Development Corporation that assists communities to bring their economic preparedness up to snuff to enable that body and others to say, hey, here is a place where we have facilities available for business to come and to take part in this community. It was entered into back in the days of City Manager Levin. COVID got in the way. We're picking that back up. Fortunately, they have changed the rules so that we no longer have to complete all of the requirements in order to qualify for things like grants. There's a new category, if you will, called Redevelopment Ready Essentials. That once we get on that path, we can use that to leverage the city for things like grants. The other thing that we brought up, and this is kind of neat, one of our members, Bob Weisenbach, is involved in classic cars and classic car shows and things like that, which Commissioner Hendrick well knows. We are in the process of planning a classic car rally in October of '24 between Clay Township, Algonac, and Marine City so far. It'll take place on city and county roads, which means we don't have to, fuss about it as far as the city goes. But it's an opportunity for people to take part with their vehicles if they so choose, or for organizations to take part, maybe put up a booth along the way or whatever. But it's sure to attract some attention. We'll be getting more information out to you as time goes by. Probably look for us on Facebook or something like that. So if you're interested in enrolling your vehicle or maybe doing something with Boy Scouts or a Little League or something like that, we'll get you information as to how that can go forward. So that's all I have. Thank you very much for your time.
see tonight we're taking up language on a ballot commission for continuation. I've lived and voted in 3 different locales in my life. Had to review and try and understand the numbers of initiatives and ballot proposals. I just asked the commission, will you think no means no? Yes means yes. We want something or we don't want something. Not one of these you have to figure out through 17 paragraphs whether one side means no or one side means yes. Please keep it simple and professional. Thank you.
Mr. Walker?
Madam Mayor and Commissioners, thank you for the time. On a positive note, I was really impressed with Maritime Days. I had my 2 little grandkids up from Florida, other they didn't like our cold water. But they had a great time on the Kids' Day. It was short notice, but they did an awesome job, and I'm looking forward to next year, so we give them some attaboys. Also, the DPW Police Department. I really appreciate the Commission's support of the Police Department. I've seen the new vehicles on the road. That shows a lot of support by you guys who support our law enforcement, and I appreciate that. You probably know what I'm here to speak about. I've been speaking on it on a regular basis. I was hoping not to have to keep coming back. But as far as Mr. Helfring goes, when he showed up from day one, his main goal was to get a pot shop in town. And I think his true colors are coming out, what kind of personality, what kind of individual he is. So you need to think about that when you're thinking about this ordinance and how you're going to proceed on that. I read a little article in the state of Michigan. 135 municipalities and townships have agreed to have a marijuana shop in their town. On the other hand, 1,375 have said no. There's a reason those 1,375 have said no. There's a reason the only one in St. Clair County that's proceeding, and I know it was Port Huron, after all their legalities and legal problems and going to court and all those kinds of things. You need to think about those things. We voted unanimously not to have a pot shop in our town. Some of you people were on that commission. All you had to do was simply do nothing. That's it. Now, we're going through this process and about what the ordinance reads, what it doesn't read. Our fine city attorney, who's an excellent man, and I know people that know him, he does a great job. But we're paying him to do all this stuff. And then we have to come back and have an ordinance if the ballot issue goes through, then we have to go through that process. That's more money going to the city attorney. Then somebody doesn't like it, they sue it. So you need to think about these people say it's free, it's not costing us anything. Absolutely it's costing us anything, and we didn't have to do anything. I'm only here for the kids. You know what? I understand you guys are politicians, and I understand the political world and how you operate, but your constituents are not just the voters. They're not just the people who voted. They're the people that come into this town to come to visit our fair city. They're the kids in the schools, and they're the other people who necessarily can't vote. The kids can't come up here and vote, and some of their parents can't come and vote because they don't live in the city. But putting a pot shop in this town sends the wrong message. It's not necessary. We don't need it. There's a reason that 1,300 communities have turned it down. We need to jump in, and we need to be the next one to say no, although we've already said no. Again, you can go on the internet. I'm not going to go through all the statistics, but in Washington and Colorado, the places that have legalized marijuana and edibles, which is really my biggest concern is the edibles, is all kinds of things are happening. Kids in emergency rooms, intoxicated driving deaths are going up, all those things are happening. I'm not under any illusion that Little Marine City says no to a pot shop, that all the drug issues are going to go away. I understand that. But we're sending the wrong message to our community and our kids and the people who come to this town that we want to have a pot shop and a marijuana shop. The business people I talk to don't want it. Most of the community don't want it. So if there has to be a ballot issue, let them go out and do all the work and spend the money. Why are we as a city spending the money to put that on a ballot issue? It doesn't make any sense. We need to think about our kids, we need to think about our community, and we need to say no to the pot shop. Because otherwise, I gotta rally all the troops and get out here on this ballot issue and spend a lot of time doing all that. I guess I'll have to do it. Maybe that's democracy. But you guys were elected to make the hard decisions. You should be making these decisions. We shouldn't have all this people running out all over town trying to fight a ballot issue. We shouldn't have to. That's why we elected you. And just think about who is the fair clown, I hate to say it, that you're following down this aisleway with this pot shop. We don't need it. Please say no. We don't need to do anything more with the ordinance. Save the town some money. Think about our kids. Put a hat on as a grandparent or parent and say no to the pot shop. Forget about the politics. Thank you so much.
I haven't been here for a while. My name's Paul Yankee. It's Reverend Paul Yankee. I'm pastor of Living Faith Lutheran Church down here. Some of you know me, some of you don't. I come from ex-police work, and I also come from being a firefighter, and have been involved in different boards and things over the years. Robert's Rules of Order is a good thing to take a look at, Mike. If you're gonna have anything to do with any kind of board, showing respect to the other people on the board and sharing your views. I wanna thank all of you for your service. I know that, it's a hard thing to do, serving in public office. Also wanna say, Mike, that if you were really smart, if you had any ounce of integrity in you, you would resign and save us the trouble of removing you from office. And I'm no fool. I'm a very highly decorated ex-police officer, and I'll tell you, I know a little bit about the law. And under Michigan criminal law or constitutional law, there is 168.327, which is for city officers. There's also 369 for township and 383 for village officers. But under 327, we could bring charges on many things that you've done against you and write a report and sign it as a witness and turn it into the governor, and the governor can either appoint the attorney general or the local prosecuting attorney to investigate it. Now, if that's what we have to go to, Mike, then maybe that's what we'll have to do. And you have no idea who you're dealing with here. You have no idea, Mike. And I'm gonna tell you something, you are what the Bible calls rakah in Hebrew in the Old Testament. You can look it up. It's an empty head. An empty head. You have no common sense. You are redeemable because you are a human being, although you kind of shown greatly that might be even under somewhat of a judgment than the last things that you said in your actions. And you are like a little kid who doesn't get their way. And we don't need, I agree with everything Roland said, having been an ex-DARE officer, and I'll tell you something, marijuana today is much more potent than what it was in the 1970s or 1990s. Much more potent. And it is an introductory drug that leads to a lot more serious drugs. And you know what? You are your worst enemy, buddy, because when you get out there and act like a moron, it shows that you are a pothead. Your daughter is scared to death of you, your teenage daughter, and that's why the police get called regularly to your residence. And if it would have been me, you'd be sitting in jail, because I write really good reports. And I would have never gotten you off in the first place, which should have never happened. Thank you very much.
Anybody else?
Yes.
Remember, when whiskey is coming, the whiskey goes to the frost.
All right,
Okay, sure.
yes,
How you doing,
Gabriel
bud?
Costanzo, 160 South Mary Street.
Good to see you.
First of all, I'd like to welcome our new city clerk, city manager. I'm sorry you have to deal with this. This city commissioner, you've heard it over and over and over. Mike, you are way in over your head. I don't know what is going on with you emotionally, mentally, if you're having some kind of breakdown, but you are not fit for the job of city commissioner. You have no understanding of how.
I'm not sure if this is gonna be heard if you don't have the microphone, just saying.
You can hear him just fine.
Well, on the video at home,
Now, speak clear, you are not fit for the job, you have no understanding what the position entails. What you have done over the last 6 months is an embarrassment to the city, you are hurting the city. What you did the past week and you still don't understand it, with that ridiculous post on Facebook about taking your dog into the cemetery, and attacking our officers, which was ridiculous, right? You don't understand why that it was so bad to take a dog into a cemetery with a sign that said the rules clearly, you feel you're above it and there is no law. You fail to understand, which is what you fail to understand with the whole city, is those are grave sites in there, loved ones are buried. Nobody wants a dog going in there urinating or defecating on graves. You don't understand that. You try to attack the officer. And then throughout the week, you attack our city manager, you attack our city attorney. You're making slanderous comments that could result in lawsuits to the city, which I'm going to have to pay for because you can't shut your mouth. You are out of control. You do not belong. You care more about what's going on Facebook than actually governing. You make these bogus polls just to get likes that do not apply to the real world. You've got to stop. You are not fit for the job. You are absolutely not in any kind of position of leadership. You should be in any position of leadership. Throughout this whole meeting, we have residents that are speaking and talking. Every one of these folks here, from the paid city staff on down, are listening to what everybody is saying. You are going through your phone, going through your documents, which is typical for you because you're never prepared for the meetings. You have no understanding what decorum is. Robert's Rules of Order, you have no idea what it is. No idea what decorum is. You began the meeting by interrupting somebody. I could go on and on and on. Everybody has said it. You are nothing but an activist who assumed that role during a very challenging time for our city. You do not care about governing. You have revealed of what your intentions are, what your beliefs are. You know, the Commissioner Ross isn't here today, right? Yet you go on Facebook and you're whining because you don't have your profile as beautiful as his. Like, what the heck is that? It could have just been a human error by the city staff why it's not there. You know what? They should put on the city profile, just as Mr. Ross's, but they should put your profile on that with your criminal record and your behavior in courtrooms. Maybe that is what they should have because your story past, Marine City does not know.
Yeah, they do.
It's my time. Please do not interrupt me. Just sit there and listen. But then again, you don't listen. You prefer to attack the residents. There are many people that go on Facebook, yet when they disagree with you, their comments are deleted. They're removed from groups. They are blocked. In closing, you really do need to resign. Don't go through the recall because you can't be removed from office. It doesn't have to be through statutory. The city charter allows it. We experience, yes, it does. It allows it. It does not take the charter. The city charter allows it. Especially if we have lawsuits because of your actions and words that could result in lawsuits in Marine City, violating certain rules. You can be removed. It does not take the governor. So understand, and I suggest you read the charter, because you were questioning, when he just brought up the charter was, you didn't know what it was, what he was referencing. You are not prepared for this job, not even remotely close. Not even remotely close. You put other commissioners, who I'm sure is part of bringing under the wing to calm you down. I think that they're extremely frustrated with your behavior and conduct. Stop what you're doing, quit attacking our city staff, quit attacking our city attorney, quit trying to stir up trouble where there is none. If I can hold a minute, just go off topic. Just two last things that I would like to suggest for the city council. Can I have one more?
You can't.
Okay, I understand.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Anybody else?
to get up there. No. It's just hard to get up, that's all. Here, do it. Yeah, I'm okay. Okay, last week I said, anger makes a better caboose than an engine. I'm gonna say it one more time. Anger makes a better caboose than an engine. And I'm sure our minister friend here, from the Lutheran Church will agree with this. This is something, I'm a minister also, that you say to people all the time. Don't make any quick decisions. When somebody dies or they lose a child or whatever, postpone every decision, because when you make decisions under emotional distress, they're never good. Now, I said this, and Commissioner Hilsbrink said, oh, well, I can do whatever I want. I can act emotional. But if you had any class, which, you know, apparently you don't, you would have said, thank you for saying that. I'll take that into consideration. Another thing I want to say is, people have talked about misinformation on Facebook. One thing for sure, a half-truth is a whole lie. Another thing I want to say is, there's a quote that I have in my house that I see all the time. I always laugh at it. And it says, how come people who think they know it all never know when to shut up? Boy, that describes you to a T. I can't believe how much it describes you. But I don't want to linger on that one. My last thing is, you know, when I was a kid, I used to watch a program called Soupy Sales. And he lived here in Marine City for a while, I think 10 years. And one of the things Soupy Sales, that happened on the Soupy Sales show, was that there was always pies going into somebody's face. Well, let me explain this. When these people go to the ballot box, they pay you with their vote. And they seem very, very concerned about this. They have buyer's remorse. And definitely, if you don't resign, there's going to be a recall. And not only are those people that have remorse going to be able to recall you, but people like me who did not vote for you also can vote against you. And I'm going to tell you something. You're going to be hit with a bunch of humble pie. I've watched people recalled in this city. It's not fun. It really destroys you. It's a very destructive thing to go through a recall. And what you don't realize is your family's going to be affected by this too, including your father who has a business. Because it just destroys your reputation. Oh, that's the guy that got recalled. It's just a very, very, very destructive thing. You do not want to go through a recall. And you are going to go through it. There's just too many unhappy people. So I'm just going along with everybody else that, Mr. Hilfrey, it's time for you to resign. Thank you.
Anybody else? Really?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to find out if he can actually get up and do this, because...
Okay, we got a couple things going on. Okay, first of all, if you're dressing up there, it goes this way. But we talked, is this actually?
No. I was gonna ask, is this even a?
This is appropriate, he's a commissioner.
It's on my mind.
We have commissioner privilege at the end of the meeting.
Yeah, you need to sit down.
Okay, so last time there wasn't an issue, and I don't, my time hasn't started here. Last time there was an issue, now all of a sudden there is.
Yeah, because you don't know how to
Hold on,
sound.
hold on. You're the city commissioner, you belong to the city.
You spoke out of FOIA.
No. I came to this podium. No. I know it's hard for you to keep things straight, but.
Oh, wow, okay.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna continue.
Alright, well, no, Mike, hold on. Mr. Hill.
It is my First Amendment right to be at this podium.
I wanna make
You
sure
do not
that
get
we're
to tell me
clear.
that
I
I'm
wanna
not
make
allowed
sure
to be
that
at this
we're
podium.
clear if this is allowed or not, because I didn't know last time and we had some discussion. I just wanna make sure if this is clear. For him to come up as a citizen.
he spoke the last time we questioned the appropriateness. And, he is not allowed to go to the podium under the auspices of being a member of the public and now refute what we agreed not to refute when people raise their public comments. We start a public comment period by telling you all, it's a one-way street. You can talk to us, we're not gonna respond or dialogue with you. We wanna hear from you. If you have an issue, if you have a tree issue, we'll get back to you through the appropriate person. But Mike, you can't use the podium to respond to these people
No.
under the umbrella of being a public citizen.
I'm not.
So I think it's an, can I finish?
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I know I have cognitive problems, but I'll try to get through it. You can't use the podium to do what you can't do when you're sitting here. You understand that?
Okay.
And so I think it's inappropriate that you're gonna use this opportunity when you have your own opportunity during commissioner's privilege. And
No, I just had about that was one thing about Phil. I wasn't gonna respond to any of them here.
Well, you already did.
Just Phil.
Oh, just once.
You
Yeah,
can't, you
just go.
cannot address the audience.
I've given my opinion, you shouldn't be doing this.
No.
Okay, then sit down.
Where Paul was taken, he should have been on the
Yeah,
board.
I do
The
have
public is
a
up.
motion. I would like my 5 minutes respected, please. Thank you.
You don't have 5 minutes.
You allow this to turn our chair, we're not.
Your seat is up there. He's a government official. We're the public at this point. He wants to speak, he does it from up there.
Come back in 5 minutes.
This is basic 101.
On the corner of the street. I'm just letting you know.
Mr. Hilfrich, you're out of order.
I'm not out of order. I'm simply trying to make a 5-minute public comment.
You're out of order, you're a commissioner.
Do it at
As
your
a
privilege.
citizen, like I did at the last meeting.
Commissioner, somebody should make a motion to consider, and vote on it.
Shame on you, Mike.
Motion for
Shame on you.
You're not next.
I'll make a motion that he's out of order.
Support.
The motion and the support to declare out of order.
I get my right to speak.
Roll call vote.
What does
Mr.
that
Rice.
mean?
Yes.
Commissioner Hendrick. Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Rory. Mayor Vandenbosch.
Yes.
Motion carried. What was the motion?
Motion
Bill.
by.
Support.
What is that? What weight does that carry to stop me from exercising my First Amendment rights?
Mike, you have an opportunity to speak to your commissioner privilege.
No. I have an opportunity to speak as a private citizen, and I also have an opportunity to speak as a commissioner. Those are two different things.
You don't understand basic government. Right there.
Where's the law, Bob? Where's the law that says I can't do this?
Where's the law that says you can't?
That's the point. Right?
But you can't
enforce things that are laws.
Mike, you got a ruling from your own commissioner.
A ruling of what?
That you're out of order.
You're out of order.
I'm gonna continue. I'm out of order. I'm gonna continue.
Mike, I made a motion and it passed.
But I don't.
Yeah, you're just holding up the meeting.
Citizen, though.
You're not a private citizen.
Yes, I am at this podium.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Official. You see, you don't understand basic government.
Mr. Hilfrich,
I am
ask you to
private
sit back
citizen.
down.
I'm a private citizen at this podium, and I would like my right of 5 minutes to be respected.
Mr. Hilfrich, we're asking you to sit back
I
down.
would like to have my right as a private citizen and my First Amendment rights for the Constitution to be respected and be able to
Mr.
speak.
Hilfrich, the last time we're asking you to
I would like to
sit
be
down.
able to have my First Amendment rights respected and be able to speak as a private citizen, just as I did in the
We have
last
Mr.
meeting.
Hilfrich removed, please.
Come on, Mike, I want you to go.
So, you're gonna remove me as a citizen or a commissioner?
You've been called out as being disorderly. We have asked you to sit down. We have followed the process.
But you can't remove me from my seat as a commissioner. That violates the voters and their right to have their representatives sit in that seat. So if he removes me from this,
You are
if he
preventing us from
removes me
continuing the
from
meeting.
this room, that is direct interference with voters and their rights who elected me.
That's not true. You don't understand.
You are preventing us by staying there
I'm
from
not
continuing with
preventing
your
anything.
meeting.
You guys are preventing me from exercising my rights as a private citizen. That's what's
but you're an elected official. Understand.
I'm a private citizen and a commissioner, both. You can be both. You can show up to boards just like Lisa Hunter does, different boards, and says things as a private citizen.
Like
You can't do
that.
that.
You have to go? You were sworn in.
I'm good. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not disorderly.
Sure you are.
I'm simply trying to have my 5 minutes
They
to
are
speak.
trying to have an orderly meeting here.
And I'm
and
trying
you
to
are-
have my 5 minutes
you
to
are
speak,
inhibiting
like
their
the 8 other
aspect.
people in front of me.
You're
And if
inhibiting
I'm
the
removed
meeting
from
that-
here, I will press assault charges on you. I will.
I'm saying, well, you're inhibiting the
No.
commission meeting from going on. They
I
have asked you
am
to-
trying to exercise my right as a private citizen as my First Amendment allows me to speak.
Mike, this is a public meeting, okay?
Yep, and I'm participating in that public
And
meeting.
they have asked you that they do not want you here anymore.
They don't have that right.
Well,
They don't have that right
you are
to do it.
inhibiting it.
No, they are inhibiting by not allowing me to have 5 minutes to speak. Would it be easier just to allow me to speak for 5 minutes? Would it just be easier? Let me say what I want to say,
Good is
and then
orderly
sit
and
down.
preventing us continuing our meetings.
Why don't you
This
just
is
sit
actually
down
a
and
charge.
the meeting go?
This is actually a charge.
Hold on. We'll go from there. Okay. Well, you're inhibiting this meeting from continuing. They have asked you to sit down, or they want you removed.
You cannot remove an elected official. You can remove people from
I'm not
office.
asking to remove an elected.
Yes, you are.
You yourself are saying that you're a private citizen.
At this point, I am.
Okay,
Okay, so let's do
at
this.
that point, you need to go outside and we can talk out there, that's fine. I'll talk to you all day out
I'm
loud.
not leaving this podium
But I am
until I get
saying,
my 5 minutes to
they are
speak.
telling you that they do
I'm
not want you
leaving
here
this
right now.
podium until I get my 5 minutes to speak.
Mike, I'm sorry, but you are inhibiting their process.
I'm
from
not
continuing.
leaving this podium until I get my 5 minutes to speak.
And arrest him. He wants to be arrested.
I'm-
And he's a
I'm
victim,
telling you.
as usual.
Yeah, that's right, he wants to be a victim, that's right.
That's
Fine.
it.
I'm not leaving this podium
Yeah.
until I get my 5 minutes
So
to
long.
speak.
They asked you that you need to leave this
Not
spot, but you
leaving this podium until I get my 5 minutes to speak as according to me under
Pull
the
up.
First Amendment.
Go ahead, chief.
Who's this? Scott?
Dominic. It's Fred, then, yep.
Dominic, tell him he's gonna be ticketed if he doesn't stop his behavior. If he continues his behavior, arrest him.
Thank you.
Ticketed for what?
Disorderly.
What am I being ticketed
It's
for?
been cleared by the prosecutor.
What is
He's
it?
gonna be ticketed, he's gonna be ticketed for disturbing the peace.
Disturbing the peace. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to exercise 5 minutes of speech.
Mike, you're
Sir,
from my
sit
chief.
down.
So,
Okay, so arrest me.
That's dumb.
Victim, here we go again. Oh, woe is me. I can't wait for this post. Oh, woe is me.
Just stupid, Mike.
Dear Nelly. Now you can remove him from office.
Yes,
Now you start the process.
he just wants it on camera.
Exactly.
Showboat.
Tell him he's gonna get a ticket.
Trash days on
Continues,
Tuesday.
he's in handcuffs.
I'm in handcuffs already.
he's being arrested.
Oh, woe is me. I'm gonna make it this post. Let's do a poll. You know, what's your Facebook poll? Are you gonna attack this officer too?
Okay, yes, no
Yeah,
problem.
like you did.
All right, come on, Mike, you don't need to talk to anybody.
Thank you. That's what drug to Judy right there.
Yeah, I don't want to touch anything. Yeah.
I'll make a motion for a 5-minute recess.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
5 minutes. We'll be right back.
He has his commissioner privilege.
Yeah.
He has commissioner privilege. Thing at almost at the
Good night.
closed session when he tried to blow our ears out.
Yeah.
And he said it wasn't loud.
It's loud for me and I can't.
Okay, we're gonna call the meeting back to order at 7:57, and we're still on public comment. Was there anybody else who would like to address? All right, we'll move on to item 7, approval of the minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the city commission meeting minutes of August 17th, 2023?
So moved.
Support.
Okay, motion and support, any discussion?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that carries. Now moving on to item 8 for the consent agenda. We have the Community Economic Development Board meeting minutes of July 26, 2023. 300 Broadway Committee meeting minutes of June 26, 2023. A business license for Little Piece of Heaven Beauty Spa. A special event permit from Tenured Automotive for the 4th Annual Memorial Car Show and Customer Appreciation. And can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, items A through D as presented?
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda, letters A through D.
Support.
Motion and support, any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Hendrick,
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Rory,
Yes.
Commissioner Ross, sorry, Mayor Vandenbosch,
Yes.
Commissioner Bryson,
Yes.
motion carried.
And we have, for item 9, items removed from the consent agenda. We do not have any items that were removed. So going on to number 10 for financial business. And for expenditures including payroll of $1,273,775.32. Can I have a motion to approve expenditures including payroll in the amount of $1,273,775.32.
I'll make a motion to approve expenditures including payroll for $1,273,775.32.
Support.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Clausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Rory,
Yes.
Mayor Vandenbosch,
Yes.
Commissioner Bryson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hendrick,
Yes.
motion carried.
Item 10B on preliminary financial statements. Can I have a motion to receive and file the preliminary financial statements?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, carries. On 10C, the engagement of McBride and Manley for annual sewer rate computation. Can I have a motion to approve the letter of engagement with McBride Manley to perform the annual sewer rate computation for Cotterville Township in the amount of $2,950?
I'll make the motion to approve engagement of McBride Manley for sewer rate computation in the amount of $2,950.
Support.
And any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bryson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hendrick,
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Rory,
Yes.
Mayor Vandenbosch,
Yes.
motion carried.
And item 10D, consideration of Teamsters contract signing bonus. Did you want to do it, or what?
I'll wait until I see that you have perhaps a motion and support, unless anyone would like me to answer questions in advance. I think the memo is pretty clear.
Can I have a motion to approve the letter of understanding between Teamsters Local 214 and the City of Marine City for a one-time contract signing bonus in the amount of $800?
So moved.
Support.
Okay, and any discussion?
Yes, Mayor and Commissioners, I just would like to point out that this mirrors the language that was in the police officer's contract that was approved. However, it initially had come up in the first session of negotiations that was actually under City Manager Tapman at the time, and really just was not carried through the process. The union came back after. However, we had already ratified and prepared the agreement on both sides. I thought it was reasonable to bring to you. And I also just want to point out that, again, this is a one-time with the language as stated here, and the breakdown for the cost of the city. The majority of this will come out of Water and Sewer Fund, and then there will be a portion split by General Fund, and then a portion split twice, local roads and major streets. So again, $800 from general, and the rest is split amongst the other enterprise accounts. So it is one time $3,200, and then we'll be finished after this agreement.
So should we upgrade the motion to say 3,200, or?
I would just, I would take the language that's recommended here.
Okay,
I just gave you the total amount, but
All right.
yeah.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Hendrick,
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Rory,
Yes.
Mayor Vandenbosch,
Yes.
Commissioner Bryson,
Yes.
motion carried.
Moving on to item 11, the recreational marijuana facilities ballot initiative language discussion.
Thought I would take the podium because I know that this is an important topic to the commission, to the city, to the people who come to speak on this issue. Back in February, in a memo dated February 23rd of this year, I gave you some research and I came to 3 conclusions at pages 10 and 11. I basically told you I think you have 3 options on this issue. You can do nothing, and you can maintain in place the ordinance that prohibits all facilities in the city. Since 2019, there's been no citizen ballot initiative to mandate facilities. That speaks loudly that you have an ordinance in place since 2019 with no challenges or initiatives to go in a different direction. You did what you had to do on medical, which required you do nothing. You did what you had to do on recreational, was to proactively enact an ordinance prohibiting such facilities. That's where you are right now. The second option I gave you was to proactively develop an ordinance scheme where you would have control over where recreational facilities would come to be located in your community and what type of facilities those would be. And your discussions had always been, you wanted to stay away from growing operations and other operations of that nature and only focus on the idea of a retail and or a micro business under the 5 categories of facilities that are allowed. The third thing that I said to you is to proactively work on a city ballot initiative that does not violate the law. And I specifically said to you in my memo, this alternative is, in my opinion, difficult. Later in the year, you voted to have a ballot initiative language developed so that we could start to look at that process. So on September 1st, I issued you a very comprehensive memo that said my research indicates that these folks can do a ballot initiative. You cannot. You can enact ordinances. You were elected to enact ordinances, to repeal ordinances, to amend ordinances, to modify ordinances in the direction of the policy that you undertake. That's under the charter, your role. Under the charter, a citizen can do one of 2 things, and it's allowed under the state constitution and flows down into your charter, and your charter is controlling on this issue. A citizen can do a referendum, which means they're asking for a repeal of an existing ordinance, or they can do a ballot initiative, which means they want to put forward onto the ballot the question of an ordinance. I was here at a meeting when it was told to you from the public that a ballot initiative is coming. You can bet on it, on this issue. And yet the time period came and there was no ballot initiative to date. There could be in the future. So in my memo to you dated September 1st, I went through all of this, and I know you enjoyed the reading. But at the end, I come down to the following conclusions. We have a state constitution that allows for ballot initiatives and ballot referendums. We have laws that say you are controlled by your charter. Your charter does not have a provision that allows you as a body to initiate a ballot initiative or a ballot referendum. You have a charter that says the public has those 2 rights. So my advice to you is to A, do nothing, or B, consider the type of ordinance that I presented to you for review and potential consideration at a future meeting for a first reading or for further discussion. The type of ordinance that I'm proposing to you has worked in other communities because it's an ordinance that designates an area of land where such facilities would be permitted uses under your zoning ordinances. But it doesn't get into the, we're gonna allow 5, because as soon as you have a number in your ordinance, then you have to develop a competitive process as to who becomes 1 through 5, and that's where all the litigation arises in other communities. I know Port Huron and Chester, there's been a lot of litigation with respect to when you put a number on it, you know, then which 5 do you select? How do you select them? What's the criteria for the selection? You have a very good, but you have a very worked staff in your administrative services. I've seen ordinances where we're gonna grant them to the first 5, and then there's a race to the counter, and somebody has to pick the winner, who was here first, and was the application complete, and was all the information there, and what time, and then you have ordinances that talk about, you know, the criteria and now you become the subjective analyzing body as to the criteria. I don't want to put you in that position. Here's the position I think you want to be in. If you want to have an ordinance, use the buffers, use the setbacks, use a zoning category, and control the location of any facility that gets permitted. And then I gave you, in that ordinance, a pretty comprehensive set of things that would have to go to site plan approval through the planning commission in terms of security plan, odor plan, parking plan, lighting plan, setbacks, all of the criteria. And then I further gave you an example of what an application would look like, so that it would be manageable. It's a checklist application, but it's very comprehensive about all the criteria that an applicant would have to demonstrate to you if they wanted to be considered for such a facility. So you have a draft ordinance, and I think that you should take time to look through that ordinance, get comments to me on that ordinance. I already have some from Commissioner Hendrick about the language and the setbacks. I tend to agree with her comment that the setback should be from lot line to lot line, not building to lot line. I don't think you should be near a church. I don't think you should be near a school. I don't think you should be near residential. I certainly don't think any facility should be near a rehab facility. So all of those were in my draft. On the other hand, I don't think you should create an ordinance where the net result is there's no land available when you use those buffers, and therefore it's an ineffective ordinance, because you're just putting an ordinance in place, but it results in no property being eligible. So I think what we should do is the following. If you want to pursue an ordinance, take a look at the one I gave you, give me your comments, we should discuss it at the next meeting. If in fact we go with a proposed ordinance, I'm not saying you have to agree to it or you're voting on it, but we should also then run it by your planning commission so that they can get back to you and say, if you enacted that ordinance, here are the locations where a facility could come to reside. And I think that you have a talented planning commission that could do that for you. And then, when the ordinance is in a shape that you believe is at least, you know, worthy of discussion and possible motion, put that on your agenda, and you've listened to the people, and make your decision. Now, I know I was expecting comments this evening that, you know, well, somehow I have flip-flopped with respect to the ballot initiative process, and unfortunately, that's not true, because I think my spoken or written word in February was, I'll look into it, I'll try to make it happen for you. I'll try to find a way where you can get this to a ballot. I can't get it off your desk. This is on you.
Well, one of the things too is when we were talking about the ballot initiative, it was requested that it was door to door, but if you look at state law, it says it has to be.
Lot line to lot line.
Yeah, we couldn't even do that.
So, anyways, that's, you know, it's, you know, I wanted to, you know, certainly allow the public to hear the rationale. I mean, there's a lot of law behind this that I presented to you. You know, we talked for a long time when I was at the podium, we talked about the nature of advisory opinions. Let's play out the scenario because I think it's interesting, and then I'll sit down because my 5 minutes are up. Think about how this could go if you actually had the power to take issues onto the ballot yourself. So this time it's recreational marijuana. So next time it's some other complex question that you're kind of hearing both sides, and so the commission says, let's just put it on the ballot. So then the next time you get a complex issue, you say, let's just put it on the ballot, right? So pretty soon, you're not doing what you were elected to do by passing ordinances, you're passing the issue to the ballot process. Right? So I think that was the thinking, you know, of our state constitution was, we'll give them the right to initiate something. You get the right to make ordinances. They don't have the right to make ordinances, and you don't have the right to do a ballot. So they can push an issue into an ordinance through the ballot process. You can make an ordinance by developing and passing the ordinance. Any questions? Any questions from the public? I'm happy to answer.
Oh, we just had one, was what is the deadline if somebody wanted, I'm not saying I don't, but if somebody wanted to put this on the ballot, because then it was in February, but what's the deadline if somebody wanted to submit it to you guys?
I don't have, well, you would be submitting, you would actually follow the process. You would circulate ballot petitions, right? So here's what has to happen if you want to do a ballot initiative on any issue. You have to develop the ballot question. You have to develop the ordinance that you seek to have approved through the initiative process. Then you have to circulate and verify through the circulation process petitions. You have to get some percentage of the last people who voted during the last presidential election or something. And then you have to get it into the county timely. And then the county, after the clerk verifies that the addresses and the people are really people, then the county makes a decision, looks at it and says, okay, we're gonna print it and we're gonna put it on the ballot. But there's timing for all of those factors. I think the next election where this could happen is in the beginning of '24.
And if I might, just to answer, I believe it is November is the deadline. I'm not 100% sure.
I think you're right.
I believe it's
But
November.
it's several months ahead of time, you give
Yes.
everybody time to process.
Yes.
I asked you this before, under the law, we can submit a ballot not to have one. They allow for that. So my question is, so if they go out and get, say we wanna put it on the ballot, we go out and put it on the ballot, how do they solve that issue?
Well, you're asking an interesting question. I'll give you a good, hopefully a solid answer. Number one, you don't really need to put a ballot initiative out there to have none because you already have that. Right? You already have an ordinance that prohibits it. You've already won that ballot issue. Right? But you're right, MRPA, the law that governs recreational facilities in Michigan, does say citizens can put an initiative in to force a number of facilities, or likewise they can put an initiative in to prohibit all facilities. But you're already in that prohibition.
So in theory, if the ballot passed and the commission made an ordinance allowing the pot shops, what if I went out and got a ballot that said no? What's gonna take precedent? Or is that up to a judge?
Yeah, that would be and plus, you know, in the situation we're in, there has to be a referendum as well. You know, my goal as your city attorney is to manage and provide these folks with enough information to make decisions and not be involved in litigation, as some of you have tracked in other communities. So I've used this ordinance scheme in other small communities, and it's been litigation-free. I've watched and participated in other major litigations that are up at the Supreme Court right now, where competitive processes have been challenged, and so I'm trying to give them guidance on the law, and at the same time, what I believe is their most likely good chance of not having litigation on these issues. So, anyways, that's where you're at. Yes, sir.
Speaking as a member of the planning commission, we're tired of dealing with this. I wish you guys would just have a motion tonight to keep the thing in place as it is, pass it, and we'll be done with it. Save a lot of trouble.
The only reason why we're considering this ordinance is if somebody does do a referendum and then we have no control. There's our problem. If it was as easy as that, to just say we do it, we're done, whatever. But the problem is that somebody does a referendum like they did in Chesterfield, they opened up a big can of worms and then they had, no control over.
Yeah, then you lose a little bit of your control. I'm trying to.
That's the problem.
You know, and believe me, I know the commissioners hear from the public, and I know the message has been loud, but, you know, we're also trying to manage these disputes going forward, so. All right, I'm gonna sit down.
Any other discussion on that?
Well, as we leave it, as the same, we already have an ordinance that prohibits it.
Yes,
And,
you've had it since 2019.
right, and we voted on that, so, and I'm not, well, I shouldn't speak for myself, I'm not afraid of a lawsuit. I'd just like to leave it where it's at, we got an ordinance in effect, but that's my,
I think that issue will be before you shortly.
yeah.
All right, so we'll move on now to 12, new business. First item is A, for library board appointment. And I recommend to appoint Mary Rodding to the library board. Is that support? Support. Motion and a support. And discussion. Yeah, Commissioner Rohrig had also applied, because there was no other applicants, but now that she was seeing that there was another applicant, she did recommend that we go forward with that. Okay, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Word,
Yes.
Mayor Vandenbosch,
Yes.
Commissioner Bryson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hendrick,
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen,
Yes.
motion carried.
Now on to 12B, the amended open in-tax ordinance, second reading and adoption. Could I have a motion to adopt ordinance 23003, an ordinance of the City of Marine City, St. Clair County, Michigan, to revise alcoholic beverages, Title 11, Chapter 114, Section 114.01, entitled Consumption in Public Prohibited Exceptions for Organizations with Permits.
I'll make a motion, we approve, I'm sorry, in our packet, ordinance 23003 is, forgive me, I'm having a senior moment here. I will make a motion, we approve for second reading and adoption ordinance number 23-003, amending the open in-tax ordinance.
Support.
I have the motion and a support. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bryson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hendrick,
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen,
No.
Commissioner Word,
No.
Mayor Vandenbosch,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, 12C for the municipal marina regulation ordinance, second reading and adoption. I Can I have a motion to adopt ordinance 23-004, ordinance of the City of Marine City, St. Clair County, Michigan, to establish municipal marina regulations, Title 15, Chapter 150, Section 08, entitled Municipal Marina Regulations.
I will make a motion, we approve ordinance number 23-004 for second reading and adoption, the municipal marina regulations.
Support.
Okay, the motion and the support, any discussion?
Yep, I'd just like to say that, I used my old copies since there were no original marks on here. And all the changes were made and discussed last time, so thank you. I made all the word changes.
I thought I had italicized them, I apologize.
That's all right, I know other things were going on.
Thank you.
All right, if nothing else, then roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Roy.
Yes.
Mayor Vandenbosch.
Yes.
Commissioner Bryson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, on to 12D, the Metro Act right-of-way permit extension. I have a motion to approve the Metro Act right-of-way permit extension for a term to end on December 31st, 2028.
So moved.
Support.
Motion and support, any discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Roy.
Yes.
Mayor Vandenbosch.
Yes.
Commissioner Bryson.
Yes.
Commissioner Hendrick.
Yes.
Motion carried.
On to 12E, for the clerk's department. It is for the agenda and meeting minutes software purchase. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda and meeting minute software agreement for Granicus?
That's what I'm recommending, yes. I don't believe so. I gave 3 quotes. I don't believe we need to.
You presented 3.
Okay, just one more.
You don't have to base it off of my recommendation. That was just my recommendation.
No, I read it. The one you recommended sounds good. I did, but how long will it take to, do this and implement it?
I don't know. We didn't get into that. We just went through kind of what the software provided to us in efficiency and workflow. I can contact them back. I don't see it being long. There's a lot of municipalities that are going to this software. Port Huron uses it. I know that 100%. Buda, Texas was one of the ones they showed me in the demo, and Frankenmuth, I believe, just went through it as well. I think it's a rather quick process. It's going to be getting everything historical, because they'll take everything we currently have, put it into this system so it's all part of one. That will probably take the longest. And then setting up our agendas is the only other part. And then setting up users would have to be on our end of the city. So I can't imagine it taking long, but then again, I don't, yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
Frankenmuth might have been longer, might have been German. I thought you needed to move here.
So I like the fact that once you do the agenda, that it notifies everybody and there's, quite a bit of stuff. So
Yeah,
it's really good.
and any citizens, just, if you didn't get a chance to read the agenda, with this software, you're able to sign up for delivery notifications. So once an agenda is posted, you'll be able to get notifications when that's out there. I believe it's delivered right to your email. So you'll be able to get it right to your email and know when it's there instead of going to search for it. But on the website, it'll be way more user-friendly for citizens, for commissioners, and other board members to access that information.
Granicus is a very stable, long-term, well-used system in local government.
And just another clarification too, it will work with our current website. They'll put like a redirect link, so it'll look like our website, but once you go to like the commission or whatever board you select, it'll redirect to that thing, but it will work with our website.
So I will make a motion, we approve the purchase of the software from Granicus for $3,696.
Support.
other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Rohr,
Yes.
Mayor Vandembosh,
Yes.
Commissioner Bryson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hendrick,
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay. And now on to item 12F, Charter 5.4.
So I asked to have this added to the agenda, and I'll put this out there, I had no desire to ever have to go down this path again, but I don't think, me personally, I don't think we have much of a choice. So I'd like to make a motion that the commission initiate section 5.4 of the charter to start the hearing process of removing Commissioner Helfrich from office. This requires that the charges be reduced to writing and delivered to Commissioner Helfrich at least 10 days prior to any hearing. So this motion just starts the ball rolling, starts the process.
I'll support. And with that, any further discussion?
I just want to make one comment. This, everybody realize this is the same one that was used on me, but different situations, every time, each one has to be taken separately, so, I just want to make that point.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Bryson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hendrick,
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Rohr,
Yes.
Mayor Vandembosh,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, moving on to item 13, administrative reports. 13A, the city attorney report.
I just want, commissioners, I enjoy working for you, and citizens, I enjoy being here with you. How's that?
That's good.
That's very nice.
And thank you, we appreciate you.
My anger is in the caboose.
Thank you, thank you. That's a good quote. 13B, the city manager's report.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. I have a few items. For the public, I just want to point out that on this evening's agenda, under the expenditures, it is very rare that we reach $1 million or go over $1 million at any meeting for expenditures. However, this is the time of year that we are doing a routine tax settlement, so we have to pay other taxing agencies, and we also disperse back to ourselves. So of this 1.2 million, approximately 900,000 was tax settlement related. So I think that's important to point out because that number is very large and jumps right out at you. The Michigan Community Center grant was successfully submitted today, and we got an acknowledgement. I will tell you, it was a challenge. So I especially want to thank everyone who was involved in gathering of information, even in the previous grant process, which we still have not heard back from yet, through my placemaking grant. So we have 2 grants for 300 Broadway out. Again, if we're successful in this grant, it is the better of the 2. But again, thanks to everyone that worked on this, volunteers and committee members and commissioners and staff, and Michelle Goodrich especially. She locked herself in the office for part of the weekend. It's a holiday weekend. Working on this, and I've already pulled my hair out, as you can tell. She was working on it, and I stopped her because we experienced technological issues, as did everyone in the state. This application was originally due last week on the 31st, and because of a glitch with the software program for the application, the state extended it to 5 p.m. today on the 7th, and at 4:13-ish, we got an email from the state that said, everybody, whoops, it's not working, you can't validate, you can't certify, you can't submit, and we're going to extend that deadline now until tomorrow at noon. Miraculously, in that little space, that little warp, we were able to get in at 5 something or other, and most importantly, we had an email that said, congratulations, you've been accepted, here's your number, cross your fingers, say a chant, light some sage, whatever works. We're in the hopper, so thank you everyone. Today was also a good day for us here with equipment and technology. The generator has been installed kind of behind us, outside of the building, and it was tested and is fully operational. We still have some technology pieces to put together for Wi-Fi connections and notification. So we'll wake up our DPW superintendent in the middle of the night if it goes off. Thank you, John. So we're looking forward to fitting the pieces, but it was tested, it worked successfully, and we won't have to be in here with flashlights and whatever in the future. Mark your calendars in advance, tentatively October 12th. It's a Thursday from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. We're going to be hosting a master plan visioning session. We'll come up with a creative name. Joe, you and I, we'll think about it. I'm sure we'll have a name for the event, but it's going to be here at Municipal Complex, and we'll try to encourage people to come out for maybe some cider and donuts and things, but most importantly, give us input on the future of the master plan and the recreation plan. So kind of set that aside in advance and we'll have more information. And then, nice audience tonight. Thank you for your patience, perseverance, and being here tonight. And if you really want to continue to be involved, we have one opening remaining on the Planning Commission. Applications are available for interested parties. They are online at the city website. So we now are down to just one opening on boards, committees, and commissions, and we appreciate everybody's volunteer service. So thank you all. That's all I have.
Okay. And anything additional from department heads?
I just want to update you on a few different things, and I'll be brief because I know it's been a long meeting. First of all, I'd like to start by apologizing for some of the, I heard some comments about the cemetery. Well deserved. Some of the growth got away from us. When we had stretches 2-3 days at a time with rain, we've got vacations, we've got people coming down with illnesses that are off. And it's really tough to keep up sometimes. For that, I apologize, and I promise you it won't get to that state again. I will be out here with a weed whip, but I have to be. So I just wanted to touch on that. One of the other things is I know that some of you are aware that I am in the market for a wood chipper. After the storms that we had and handling the debris 2 and 3 times, having a company come in and haul it out, it's just counterproductive. And I've built some good relationships over the years with companies, and obviously with something used, which is the route I'm going to go, you can't go through a bid process. So what the company that I'm dealing with, and I'll give you more details when the time comes, they've been good enough to let me choose from an array of their chippers, use them for a month, decide if in fact that's the one we want, before they give us a deal at a fraction of the going rate or price that most of them are going for. And I will support that with documentation of other chippers and stuff that are comparable. Just giving you a heads up on that. That's going to be coming your way, so hopefully. Jim actually brought something up earlier about the marina, ladders and porta potties. Season's pretty much done, but next year, until the park gets underway and completed with restrooms and stuff like that, I think it's a good idea that we put at least 1 or 2 porta potties out there. The other thing was ladders. I did get some pricing on ladders that were made basically for that area, because it's about 9 feet deep from the end of the dock to the river bottom. And as Scott knows, they came in just shy of a couple $1,000 each. So I'm going to go a different route with those, and we'll get them in probably still this year. Even though the year's winding down, it's still important to have stuff out there. So hopefully we get something out there in the next couple of weeks. 300 Broadway, I've gone through and had all the fire suppression gone through and updated. That includes the fire extinguishers, which they basically hung the new ones on the wall right near the historic extinguishers that were in there. So those are still there, but everything has been approved and up to date, and I call it the insurance policy on the insurance policy, because as many of you may know that if the fire suppression and the extinguishers are not up to date, should there be a fire, the insurance company's not going to cover it. So it's important that we got that taken care of. Lastly, I would like to upgrade the street signs. This would be done in phases, and I'd like to start with the downtown or the business district. Phase 1 would be Bridge Street, South Water Street, and then Broadway up to South Merritt. in North America. And this is kind of what I'm looking at. Some of you have seen them. So with your blessing, I would like to move forward with phase 1. Eventually, we'll move into the interior streets and stuff too, but we have to start somewhere. And cost-wise, obviously, between the length of the, the street names and the sign size, obviously the prices vary, but I'm thinking we should do phase 1 probably in the neighborhood of about $1,000. So with your blessing, I will move forward with that. So other than that, that's all I have, and I enjoyed working with you all too. Any questions? Or?
If I may, I'll probably embarrass Jeff. He's a humble guy. I kind of want to refer to him at times as St. Vincent V. Schmidt, because what he's been working on in these signs, we couldn't buy the signs from sign manufacturers, and he's looking at a way of us buying sign blanks or templates and then working with, a layered approach with the graphics company, and that just usually doesn't happen. So I appreciate it, and I know we all appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
And just to take it a step further, the signs that we do remove, we can put on the website and sell them for a fee. Because a lot of people love to have that in their garage or their man cave or she shed or store or whatever. So that's another way to help recoup some of the cost for those signs.
You might offer the new signs for sale too, if people want to buy it. Use all waters, so that way they don't disappear.
With a slight markup. So, and lastly, one more lastly, Scott had mentioned about Michelle working the weekend. I just want to give a shout out to Michaela down at the DPW. We had no beach attendants for the entire Labor Day weekend because they've all gone back to moved or gone back to school. She worked the entire Labor Day weekend as a beach attendant out there, just so that we'd have somebody out there. So shout out to her too. So
Great employees.
Wow.
that's it. Any questions, anything? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, just a couple quick things from the clerk's side. Between everything else being thrown at city staff, we've been battling in the county and the state with a new proposal on early voting for elections. It is a nightmare, so the groaning is far worth it. There have been email chains back and forth for the last 2.5 weeks with all the county clerks to try to clarify what is going on during early voting. I still don't think it has been settled with what we need to do. But to kind of give a rundown, there are two options. We can either come together as multiple municipalities and do it all like in a county-wide early voting. It's going to cost an astronomical amount. I don't think anybody in the county wants to do that. They discussed the Blue Water Convention Center. It would come at a very large cost for municipalities. Smaller ones like us, I don't think we can afford it. I don't think we can staff it. So I think that one's been kind of squashed by the county itself and other clerks. The second option is we can go into it together with local municipalities. So for example, we could go in with Algonac, Clay, St. Clair, just make it small. But again, you have to have a central location that's big enough to house those precincts for early voting, and it's 9 days of early voting. With that, again, you run the risk of cost, security, electricity, reliable internet, and the biggest one of all, we have to buy another tabulator if we do that. You can't use the same tabulators that you do on election day. I don't think for us it's cost effective to do so. Option 3, we just hold it here, 9 days of early voting. Again, it would have to be secure. It's a discussion we could have come December, because we wouldn't be able to hold commission meetings or other meetings in this area. Because it has to be closed for those 9 days for election security. We wouldn't, they're clarifying still if we still need to buy another tabulator for that reason. But if they're thinking if we hold it here, we can use one of our election day tabulators for that. But again, you can't tabulate those votes until the end of the actual election day. So what the need for the extra tabulator is, we can't get a straight answer. So
for meetings though, we could go back to the fire hall. if
Yeah.
necessary.
And we could, and again, that could be a discussion for that time. And then there's discussion of early voting, if people need to register to vote, what the clerk's hours need to be, and if you're not here at your local municipality and you're there, how do they come and register to vote? So it's been a nightmare. There's still clarifications to come on it. Hopefully I'll have more in the next month or two. Hopefully before the election, I should say. But we're still working on that, so we're getting there, one day at a time, one day at a time.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
On to 14, Commissioner Privilege and Liaison Reports. And we'll go ahead and start with Commissioner Clausen.
Well, we do have a planning commission meeting coming up, so, and there's 2, 3 things on the agenda, I believe. So we're back in the planning stage. I do want to apologize to the public, and that's what happened here tonight. I made that motion because I feel we needed to come to an end, and I want to know how we stood on it. So I just I want everybody would stick together and work together. It would be better for the whole community. Thank you.
Commissioner Bryson.
I have nothing.
Commissioner Rohr.
I just wanna say, school is back in session, so please be careful and watch out for the children walking to and from school. Stop for school buses loading and unloading, and please completely stop at stop sign. It's often, the time hasn't changed yet, but later on, it's gonna get awfully dark in the morning, so please watch out for the kids and everybody else that's out walking. Okay, that's all I got.
I just wanna thank all of our staff. I know how difficult it was for all of you coming here and taking on the tasks that were at hand. I know how difficult it's been for you with all the disruptions and all the issues. But I just wanna thank all of you guys, because I tell you what, we couldn't keep this city running without any of you. And we need you all here, we want you to all be happy here, and we're gonna try to do whatever we can to make things right so that you stay. I mean, because again, we cannot do this job without you. And we just appreciate every darn one of you. DPW, you got all of it, everybody. So, that's it.
Very nice. Just got a couple of things. As Chairman Moran had said, I had missed the CED board prior to getting appointed on there. I had made an obligation that evening, but thank you very much for that update for everybody. And I want to wish the Mariners good luck tomorrow night versus St. Clair. So if anybody gets a chance, head out to that game, that'll be a good one. A couple other things I'd like to thank, one thing is Commissioner Hendrick with all of our employees. I said them exactly as well. I'd also like to thank the Women's Civic Club for their ongoing work they do in that park. It's a beautiful park, and they spend a lot of time and work doing that, and that is a park. People enjoy that, just going through it. There's events that are held there. They do a lot of work in that park. It's just not the name on it, but they do a lot of work there. And then also thank again Rosalie for all the work that you have done. Thank you. All right, and with that, can I have a motion to go into closed session?
Make a motion to go into closed session.
Support.
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Bryson?
Yes.
Commissioner Hendrick? Yep. Commissioner Clausen?
Yes.
Commissioner Rohr?
Yes.